right. After a long absence, I didn't have power, and then wasn't feeling good, so missed a couple of these. So welcome back to Tech on Ice. If you were patiently waiting, thank you. If this is your first time, welcome. Um, I want to talk a little bit about last week. So right now we're in the week of like Thanksgiving holiday in the U.S. So last week was Microsoft Ignite, which is one of their first party events, and I thought that would be good to go over kind of some of the announcements that I saw that were kind of interesting. Full disclosure, I am a vendor at Microsoft, so I know a little bit about these first party events. So some of the stuff that was announced is new to me, some of it wasn't new to me, but anyway, I just thought I was, these are my takes in general as a developer and somebody who's a tech enthusiast. For folks that might not know about Microsoft Ignite, it's a Microsoft first party event. It's usually in the fall, and it's more geared towards the IT professional audience. So database administrators, system administrators, M365 admins, folks like that. There's developer stuff there, but it's like developers aren't the core audience. But there was some stuff that I think is pretty developer focused and interesting for developers. Specifically, the fact also that we had GitHub Universe this month. Also, you had .NET Conf, which is the yearly release of .NET in C Sharp. So there's been plenty of developer news in the last couple of weeks. But there was some stuff at Ignite too that was new, or stuff that has been teased but is now available. The biggest one that I saw, if you want to think about Ignite this year, Ignite was very much like this is the Ignite of AI, right? So most of the core announcements were AI centric. There was an announcement of a new service called AI Foundry, which is kind of think of it as like the one-stop shop to build AI applications. So it's going to integrate with GitHub and Visual Studio Code and all of that stuff to be able to and eventually like AI Day Studio to be able to build like AI apps. There's also interesting things like in the agentic or agent space or extension space. So depending on what tool you're using, there sometimes it's called extensions, sometimes it's called agents. The GitHub Copilot for Azure extension was, it was shown off some more, and I think I think it's officially kind of ready for prime time. Think of it like this, right? So you're in GitHub Copilot in chat, and you can have a conversation with basically an entity, like they call them extensions, basically that's trained and knowledge on Azure information. So you can ask it a question like, what's the best way to deploy this application, and it will tell you. Or you can ask information about Azure. You can ask it about cost optimizations for an application. You can ask it any question you want because it's a chatbot. So that's interesting, right? So the ability to, from Visual Studio Code, be able to directly interface and get answers to Azure instead of having to go out to the internet to get those answers. So that was interesting. Also, there was a cool thing. I think it's called Windows 365 Link. It very much looks like it's very much a thin client that gives you access to M365 applications. So if you've been in this space for a long time, you've probably seen a thin client. Usually they're Citrix, where it's a very small box in your machine. It plugs into a monitor, and then you have kind of a desktop experience where you just open up apps. It'd be interesting to see how much differentiated this new piece of hardware is compared to thin clients that have existed in the market for a bit. Obviously, first party integration with M365 is probably pretty interesting. We also had some announcements in the space of just more AI stuff in general and how you connect all these pieces. So Fabric had some AI stuff come out. And we're continuing this trend of AI specific development. So as a developer, how are you building AI apps? Well, it depends. If you're building apps that have a UI and a front end and all of that, yeah, you're probably using the SDKs that exist and the APIs that exist for those AI tools that you're using. But also you're seeing more and more folks talk about if you're building agents, you might be using a low code approach. Um, so, you know, think of like Power Platform, or um, there are some other tools that do this, right? So it's interesting, right? Also, like, all these things are going to be deeply integrated with like all the Azure App Platform stuff, so logic apps, functions, what have you. So, those are some of the things like at a high level that have that came out in Ignite that I was interested about from a developer's perspective. Um, I hope you like that. If you were paying attention to Ignite, like, comment down below what was from Ignite was exciting for you, what was interesting, and yeah, I hope that we only see more and more developer focused things, especially in this AI space, because I think that there's tons of opportunity to build interesting apps enriched with AI. And you know, as developers, we always want to play with the newest things, and definitely AI is the newest thing. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.